We have Florida Republican Randy Fine, welcome back to the show, and California Democrat Ro Khanna. Randy, I start with you. I'm a fair broker. You're always welcome here, and you know that. And I have to say, thank you, and God bless you both for standing next to each other, showing the civility, showing that you can have a conversation with somebody from a different party. It seems simple for you two, but it is a prayer too often in this country. So thank you for doing it. Randy, what do you make of my take? Why did you vote for it?
Well, I reject your take. I actually think this does a lot for regular Americans, and it doesn't reward the people that you think it's going to reward. Saying to the woman who's working right now for tips that she's not going to have to pay taxes on those, saying to the elderly person, 88% of whom won't have to pay taxes on their Social Security benefits, saying to the cop that's working overtime that he's not going to have to pay taxes on that, that's really going to help people. But the wealthy that you're very focused on, this doesn't cut their taxes. This just keeps their rates the same. And if raising rates was such a good idea, Democrats could have done that when they controlled all three branches of government, but they didn't. And you talked about the dangerous straits that our country is in right now. I think doing a massive tax increase on the small businesses that you talked about is a terrible idea. So this bill does a lot of great things, but it doesn't reward the wealthy, because I am one, and I don't get tips, I don't get overtime, and I'm not worried about Social Security. I'll pay the same taxes next year that I do right now. And so I think this is a huge win for Americans, and I was proud to support President Trump today.
There is no analysis that shows that any of the first people that you talked about benefit anywhere near as much as you do. I'm not saying that you don't do the tips, that you don't help the middle class. I'm saying that your suggestion that you have to help the top most in order to do anything for anybody else is specious, not backed by economic theory or American experience. And news alert, I'm even more in that bracket than you are.
I think that saying that you're helping someone by keeping their tax rates the same is an argument that I would reject. And that's, if you listen to the Democrats, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like there are brand new tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires. And there aren't. I mean, look, if they want to argue in the spirit of open discussion, we should have massive tax increases on the wealthy, they should make that argument. But they aren't getting big tax cuts. Chris, you're going to pay the same next year that you're paying right now. And so that's not a huge new benefit for you.
I agree, but it's continuing a benefit that I don't know that I need. One, because I don't trust how you guys use the money, but two, because to pay for what you're giving me, you're taking from people that don't deserve to have things taken. That's my point, Randy, but I respect your argument. Ro, is he right? You Democrats had a chance. You didn't do it. Now you want to bitch just because it's hate Trump all the time and you don't have better ideas.
Well, first of all, let me just say I am one of those people who's extraordinarily proud of being American. One of the reasons I'm proud is you can have a Democrat of Hindu faith standing side by side with a Republican of Jewish faith having a civil conversation on your show. And we need more of that in this country to bring this country together. Look, we have a philosophical disagreement. This bill, in my view, 60% of the benefits go to the wealthy, to people who are making over $220,000. I candidly do believe that for the billionaires in my district and for the wealthy, we should raise their taxes. I'm very clear on the record of that. And the bill takes away Medicaid and SNAP. It has $1 trillion of cuts there. The studies show that if you're in the bottom 30%, you're actually going to lose money. Even when you factor in the no tips, the no overtimes, when you take away the Medicaid, you take away the SNAP, you actually are a loser. And if you're in the top 10%, you make out a lot. That is not, in my view, what we need. What we need is higher taxes on the wealthy, and we need to be securing Medicaid, securing food assistance. And Chris, the people who suffer the most, in my view, are the kids. Because when you have a family that isn't getting food assistance, is not getting health care, the American kids suffer. You want to build a great society, invest in our youth, invest in our kids, make sure they have health care, make sure they have basic food assistance.
Chris, can I jump in on that? Because
yeah, please, Randy, go ahead.
The bill cuts Medicaid The bill cuts Medicaid for two groups of people. And again, Democrats just say they want it. It cuts Medicaid for illegal immigrants. Now, if they want to say illegal immigrants should get Medicaid, they should just make that argument. The other group
But they
it
don't
cuts
get
from
federal
are
money.
people we never expanded it to. They do. 1.4, that same analysis you referenced said 1.4 million illegal immigrants get Medicaid. That's that same analysis.
Randy,
But not from the
just to be
federal.
precise. What we're talking about is an undocumented person shows up in an emergency room in a hospital. Right. The state takes care of it. Now, you actually, on the bill, don't cut it. What you take is the reimbursement goes down from 90% to 50%. I believe most people in this country believe that if someone shows up having a heart attack, the doctor should treat them. And if you believe that, your bill basically puts the burden all on the states, and it's still funding it. You don't zero it out.
But we've solved for that in Florida. 1.4 million people on Medicaid. They're going to lose it. The other people who are going to lose it are 30-year-olds who are at home playing video games who don't want to get a job.
Come on, that's a boogeyman, though, Randy. It's such a small amount of people that aren't working who get Medicaid. You're playing into a stigma that people who are poor are lazy.
No, not all people who are poor are lazy. I know lots of people who are poor, but there are some people who may not be poor and choose not to work. But I think the president's coming on, and you probably want to hear what he thinks about the bill.
Well, look at you, Randy. You should have my job. I mean, Ro, let me give you a last word.
Well, look, the cuts go much beyond the work requirements. As Arkansas showed, when you give these requirements, a lot of people, even if they are trying to work, don't meet them. But it also cuts funding for the states for Medicaid. It puts restrictions on the reimbursement. The bottom line is they made a decision. They believe that giving more money to the capital class is how to grow the economy. My belief is you invest in the health and in the food security of ordinary Americans, and that's how you grow the economy. It's a philosophical difference, an age-old philosophical difference of the genius of America. My belief is the genius is in ordinary Americans.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.